Up first, as a curator of talent, this man's basically a golden ticket for every hopeful pro, every starving streamer, and every undiscovered diamond looking for their chance to dazzle. He's the godsend for gamers, the champion of creators, and the master of giving the next generation of pros their first taste of victory. Some people wake up to build empires, but this man just polishes his crown. It's the esports emperor. It's the chief simplifying officer. It's Knock.
New intros will never get old. Appreciate you, Sam. Looking forward to this one.
I think Knock definitely, because he also is part of Rumble, has to have the most total unique intros ever. I think it's like 80 or something ridiculous now. Up next, Steel Yourselves, because this man is here to set the stage on fire. He's the maestro of mayhem and the maverick who took Macau from poker parlor to powerhouse of high stakes. With a career packed with paradigm shifting projects, he's now making waves in Web3 with his latest venture, My Angry Yakuza Girlfriend. Brace yourselves for the rebel of the rollouts, the titan of taboo. It's the one and only. It's Senjin.
Thank you, Sam. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm going to get stuffed like the fattest fucking turkey ever over the weekend, and I hope the best for all of you. And thanks for the intro as well, Sam.
Sinjin's just got this like twinge of like sweet, adorable kindness in his voice that I'm not used to today. I don't know what to do with myself. Up next, crafting killer content that captures hearts and conquers algorithms. A king of content and captivating attention. In 2019, this next panelist and captain of clicks clinched the coveted crown of search engine marketer of the year. And if there was an award for Web3, he'd win it in 2024 for his work with Avalanche and Off the Grid. He's the prince of page rankings, the master of memorable merchandise, and the archangel of Avalanche. It's Coop.
I do actually want that award. If somebody spin up a quick like marketing awards kind of thing, I could use that for my resume. Thanks, Sam.
I'm buddies with Omar, so I'll just slide that in there. Actually, I should have used my speech to be like, where the fuck is the award for Coop, guys? Please,
Yeah,
what are
come
we
on.
doing here? Up next, he's a revolution on four legs, the trailblazer in the terra incognita of tech, representing the cutting edge ETH lizards. This digital dynamo is rewriting the rules of gaming infrastructure. He's got the insight of a seer and the daring of a pioneer. Welcome back to the panel, the CEO. It's Animositas.
Sam, it's a pleasure to be back. Down bad as far as sleep, but up big time, up only when it comes to friendship from Manila. Glad to be back on the panel with you guys today, and I can't wait to talk about alts.
Up only when it comes to friendship. That's a beautiful way to put it. I love it, man. From up next, from co-founding blockchain at Berkeley and drafting ICO white papers that fueled 50 million in funding to curating conferences that spotlighted blockchain legends like Vitalik, this maverick has left an indelible mark on our industry. He turned UC Berkeley's classrooms into the launchpad for groundbreaking projects and raised a $25 million fund as a student. No big deal. Add to that a $910 million fundraising round at Forte and co-founding Game7, revolutionizing Web3 game development. He's the trailblazer of trustless tech. Welcome to the stage. It's Ronan.
Yo, what's up, guys? Sam, I'm curious to know what kind of prompts you're using to draft those intros because they're amazing.
I'll never tell. Who knows? Maybe I've been an AI agent for the last 2 years. P.S. If anybody knows how to make an AI agent of me that doesn't suck, please slide
Oh,
in the
wait,
DMs.
wait until the end of the show. You have your own AI agent on virtuals, man.
Yeah. Sam Ticker going to the moon, if it exists. I don't know. Time will tell. Not financial advice. Once upon a time, this next guest was dousing fires, but now he hoses down hopes and dreams with his sharp insights. When he's not here, astounding audiences, he's busy at Uptick as a performance marketing mastermind and salesman to the stars. Also, we saw a feature of him in Manila representing the Wolves at the G3 Awards. Big shout out. Weighing in at 6'5", 230 pounds. Let's see if he can tip the scales in his favor. Give it up for the multi-talented, the Jerry, the Golden God singer.
Hey everybody. Yeah, it was super fun to be with all you guys. You guys are all very inspiring people. But I want to say happy birthday to Dub, man. Dub, you're my arch rival on this show, but I love you, man, and happy birthday.
Yeah, buddy. Speaking of, before dominating the digital battlegrounds, this man was slaying it in the sporting goods scene. Get ready for the dynamic dynamo, is always on the move and never misses a shot. Welcome to the stage. It's the lethal legend, the sharpshooter of shrapnel. It's our beloved Dub.
What up? What up? Another year older. I'm live from my grandma's living room playing Nintendo 64 and ripping parallel packs on this space. Life is perfect.
That's cool. I'm live from your grandma's bedroom.
Well, happy birthday on that note. Up next, his background might be in traditional finance and wealth management, but he's a gaming degen and Bitcoin believer at heart. From LAN parties in the 90s that make DreamHack look like a Chuck E. Cheese and stacking GPUs in milk crates to mine digital gold, he's putting his money where his milk is. Now he built Star Atlas, possibly the most ambitious game in all of Web3. Welcome to the panel, the Sultan of the Stars, the Sage of Solana. It's Michael Wagner.
I will also leave you hanging all call long, so expect more of those. Dub, I hope you're playing GoldenEye, man. Tell me it's multiplayer GoldenEye right now. Good to be here, guys.
We're on Gauntlet Legacy, but I appreciate it.
What a great game, dude.
Dude, at the next Wolves Den, we've got to get an N64 with 4 controllers playing GoldenEye. First off, because it's an amazing game, but second off, because if you haven't played GoldenEye in the last 20 years, you have no idea how horrific those controls are. And they totally revolutionized first person shooters on consoles. So I'm not giving them shit for it. But people forget they have rose colored glasses and feel like it plays like Call of Duty. It is atrocious. It is a travesty that we used to play this way, but it is still one of the most iconic games of all time. Up next, he's not just a financial wizard who once wielded in a $100 million budget at Twitch Prime. He's also the architect behind Glitter Cloud Solutions, a sparkling Web3 consultancy with a house in Miami, by the way, for Art Basel that you should definitely come by if you're in town. Let's give a warm welcome to the Titan of Twitch, the Baron of the Budgets. It's Tony Valkersel.
Hey, thanks for having me on today, guys. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to see a bunch of you fools down in Miami. We're going to have a blast. I think Jerry and I are cuddling up on the floor together, but we are ready to rock. Thanks for having me on again, and excited to chat about the gamified stuff today.
Big hugs, Tony. Great to have you as always. And as my co host, this lovable lizard is always leaping into lively discussions at just 2.4 pounds. He's the little lizard legend with a larger than life presence. It's my co host with the most. It's Lambs.
GM, it's good to have you guys all back, and so I can stop having all the FOMO on my timeline watching you guys have such a good time in Manila. But overall, it looked like it was a great time. Games GG Awards looked sick, so yeah, glad to get into it today.
Grateful to be back, not grateful to no longer be giving you FOMO. Now we just have to move the goalposts and find some other way to make Lems feel like he's missing out. But real quick, let's give a standing ovation to the unstoppable juggernauts making Gamified possible. First up, Avalanche, the official chain of Gamified. Avalanche isn't just faster, cheaper, and more feature-packed than the rest. It's where gaming royalty resides. Whether you're battling for survival in the cinematic shooter Off the Grid, exploring the enchanted worlds of Korea's masterpiece MapleStory, or diving into the S-tier games redefining fun in their ecosystem, Avalanche is the playground where Web3 gaming lives. And why stop at playing games when you could own the whole arena? With Avalanche, you can deploy your very own Layer 1 blockchain where your community calls the shots, your token powers the engine, and every bit of value stays locked in your universe. So as the sparks fly, remember Avalanche is the power grid electrifying the future of gaming. And of course, at Gamified, we aim to be the best show in Web3 every single week, and no one embodies that cosmic ambition quite like our sponsor, the new official game of Gamified. It's Star Atlas. This high-fidelity space titan has been blasting through the Web3 gaming galaxy with optimal player ownership and top-notch tech like having over 1,000 concurrent players in a single environment during a closed surge playtest. Plus, live right now is the Golden Carnival, a party with legendary loot totaling $4 million in prizes. So get those golden tickets for the official game of Gamified. Thank you to Star Atlas for sponsoring our voyage through the gaming universe. Also, we have Big Swagner, Michael Wagner himself. I saw him in Manila. Michael Wagner, I just wanted the opportunity to say thank you so much for believing in Gamified, man. A huge shout out to you and the team over there. Super excited to be aligned with you guys going forward, man. Thank you so much, brother.
JK, I was going to leave you hanging again, but no, dude, it's such an easy call, man. I appreciate the opportunity, and it was a no-brainer. As soon as you reached out, I know you were looking for somebody that was quality, and we're super proud, super happy to be working with you on this.
Well, consider that feeling mutual, whether you leave me hanging or not. Love you, brother. Thank you so much. And of course, let's high five the force field that keeps our digital assets growing. Our sponsor, StarNet, the official infrastructure of Gamified. StarNet's the next generation ad network powering $100 billion spent on user acquisition every single year. Instead of being owned by Google and Facebook, StarNet is taking a grassroots approach to user acquisition. Join the revolution of ad tech, and let's jump in to the first topic of the day. We try not to focus too much on market stuff, but it seems like we have to this time around. Meme coins are still pumping. Bitcoin is jumping up to 100K, then back again. And as we have this new AI agent narrative taking hold, we're also seeing dinosaur coins from the last cycle catch a bid with metaverse projects like Sand and Mana up to 100% over the last 7 days. Is alt season finally here, guys? Or do you think that there's a potential new meta as we near the end of 2024 and move into 2025? One other thing to note is that we're also, as we get to the end of 2024, potentially entering loss harvesting season, and that could sort of dampen the upward pressure that we know and love. Curious what you guys think about the market and how it's going to affect gaming as we see it right now. Lambs, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, I think it was somewhat predictable at this point that we would bounce off 100K for a while, like big mental barrier, I think, to get through, right? It's such a like round number and big threshold. But interesting to see other things catching a bid, like ETH has been pumping a bit. We've all been waiting for ETH to catch a bid for the last while. And then, yeah, watching the dinosaur coins, like from last cycle pump, like it just shows that retail's kind of rolling back in, looking on Coinbase, they're just seeing like what's available. So it makes me a little bit optimistic for the rest of our gaming bags, but I won't say I'm like super bullish yet. Still like on the fence a little, not 100% there. But it seems optimistic that maybe all season comes. But who knows? Maybe we get like at this end of the year sell off, bit of a scare. Make retail a little stressed. Like I saw some people were when Bitcoin went back down to like 89 or 90 or whatever it was. I saw some people sharing like DMs they were getting of like their friends who had aped in near the top, and they're like, "Oh, it's all over. This Bitcoin thing, it's all over." And now they're just shaking out, and here we are grinding back up again. So yeah, I think we could see another shakeout, but maybe all season really is here. And yeah, like the bull of 2025 will be great.
Quick reminder that nothing you hear on today's show, whether it's from me or any of our panelists, is financial advice. We're all just a bunch of degens. We all just keep on clicking like the rest of you, and none of us really know what we're doing here. Over to Sinjin. Sinjin, what do you think of the market and how it'll affect gaming as we know it?
I think I think people have talked about this a lot, but Saylor is like 6 billion bids to for the Bitcoin and it not breaking 100K. I think that was seen as quite not necessarily bearish, but for a lot of serious day traders, a little bit surprising. And if 6 billion can't kind of get over 100K, it's kind of like, okay, well then let's kind of wait and see. But what's been really good is like with a lot of legacy coins that were being pumped, something like XRP or Stellar, which you might be really scratching your heads with, why that pumped so much was because Korea was really pumping it very hard. And at the end of the day, we've talked about this a lot, and Jay from Genopets has as well. Like, you need a group of retail to really come in and start pushing something. And when the Koreans come in, it's generally a good sign. But I would say wait until this weekend to see whether or not the pump happens across the board. But for myself, not financial advice, I think the alt season is here if this Friday things go really well. For Bitcoin itself, like anything like the fact that we just even bounced back today a little bit, had it gone down to 88, okay, maybe for Bitcoin, but the fact is that, we're staying above 90 and stuff like that, I think is a very, very good sign. And, back in like 2017, the real run happened, at the beginning of December. And I guess the key thing is that it's never been like these runs have never been about general retail. It's about the mega whales, and anyone who's been in the space for the last couple of years, like if you haven't made money by now, like I don't know what to fucking tell you, man. Like like holy shit, like you've been like basically eyes closed. So literally everyone up on this panel should be up by a lot, right? And so that rotation from those people who actually have been in the market for a while, who have, the big bags and stuff like that, they are going to kind of double down on wherever they see retail going. I think this weekend will be a massive sign whether or not retail's in. And then I would say probably until like middle of December or so like that, we're pretty safe.
Real quick, harkening back to the intros, Jaxie says Sam is dead to me. The GoldenEye mechanics are the best ever made. And Luke Frank says Rumble packs on GoldenEye. Remember those? Holy moly, you guys are taking me back. Great takes, though, Sinjin. Great to hear your input on the market. Let's send it over to Swagner with his financial background. Maybe he can shed some insight.
Still NFA, but yeah, dude. Having been through this is like the fourth cycle for me, I think. It's right on cue, and it's following the historical pattern that we've seen post every halving. every 4 years. So not surprised at all. To Lems's point, not surprised that we bounced off 100K. It's very much a psychological barrier for people. The same thing happened at 10K, by the way. And so I saw a post on now X. Somebody was showing like the first time that Bitcoin broke through the 10K and the sell wall that was just massive. And once it broke through, then it just cut loose. But so that's it might take a little bit of time, but I do think the rest of Q4 is actually going to be pretty strong. I think one of the best things that can happen for anyone who's a shitcoin trader, altcoin trader, is we see a little stability and sideways in Bitcoin that will actually lead to some capital flows out of the large caps, out of Bitcoin, and a bit more speculation into some of the smaller cap coins. So I think it's actually quite good. I do expect some type of short term top out in Q4, probably be like second week of December, and I think things will slow down for Bitcoin for a good portion of the early part of next year, and that's where we see altcoins really start to outperform before we see a recircling back into Bitcoin. But I think Bitcoin is going to continue to run. I think we've got some really strong fundamental catalysts for crypto in this cycle, including not only the institutional capital that's flowing in, retail coming in through ETFs, making it easier than ever to get into crypto. You have major corporations starting to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. You have nation states, countries that are starting to buy into Bitcoin. We saw this first in emerging markets, El Salvador being a great example of that. But this talk in the United States of establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve is like just insane. Whether that happens or not, it could create an era of competitive bidding for Bitcoin at the nation state level with virtually unlimited amounts of capital to put into it. So it could be crazy. I think there's a potential for an extended bull market here, the so-called super cycle. We might not top out in 2025. This thing might run even longer than that. I'm pretty optimistic. I'm most optimistic about the like quick footnote here. I don't care what your political affiliation is, but I'm very optimistic about the outcome of the elections in the United States, specifically because it's leading to a far more positive regime for people that are operating in crypto. And we've seen the way that the SEC kind of treated crypto companies over the last couple of years, and I think we're going to see a complete shift on ideology around crypto. So I think it's really good for companies like Automata, for projects like Star Atlas. With respect to tax loss harvesting, like, dude, is anybody in profit that they even need to offset right now? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's had gains in a while that they need to offset. So I don't think tax loss harvesting is going to be significant this year.
Swagner's getting me excited, guys. Is anybody going to bring me down to earth? Let's send it over to Ronan from Game7.
Yeah, I can't be more bullish than Michael. He basically just made us all bullish as fuck, going all in. I guess yeah, I can't say anything more. I think like the counterpoint, something that been around for like 4 cycles now. I think historically the cycles were driven by degens and then funds and family offices. I think the Bitcoin bull run is really led by this like big institutions now, and I don't think they're gonna be rotating into ETH or any other shitcoins. So I am bullish generally speaking. And I do think that Bitcoin is definitely going to hit 100K, if not by this year, for sure next year. I think we're definitely breaking that. I just want to be, kind of my just as a counterpoint, right? Like the money that goes into Bitcoin might not flow like it did previously, where retail individuals made money on Bitcoin and then start looking for the next shitcoins to basically make 100x. While I do think that the market is going to keep going up and also going to do good.
Inclined to agree with you there. Let's send it over to Knock, then we'll tag in Tony V.
Yeah, I think what we have over the course of the next, let's call it 3 to 4 weeks, is an opportunity for a lot of people who are in the trenches and who have been here through the bear to sort of recalibrate their expectations of how market cycles work. I think a lot of people are surprised at coins like Sand or some of the more quote unquote dinosaur coins that we see, like large caps in XRP, Doge, Tron. We're seeing these coins run, and people are confused as to why this is happening, because for a lot of us in this space, you say, well, we've been here, we know that maybe we're no longer as excited about these tokens as we once were, but for the average retail investor, what they did years ago was come into the space, purchase a token, disappear once that token took a nosedive. They didn't sell it for the most part. They said, all right, fuck it, lost a whole bunch of money in crypto, it's a scam. And then they go to look at charts and they see that, holy shit, well, maybe, the XLM that I bought in 2016 is starting to run again. Maybe that's something I should double down on, because, maybe it was a good play. My timeline and my horizon was just fucked up. And that's why we're seeing movement in a lot of tokens that are much older than the tokens that so many of us on this panel are excited about. I think what we see happen is the main three, the big three, continue to trade well over the course of the next few weeks, being Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. We'll see other big market cap coins move. The older ones will probably continue to move as more retail pays attention to the space. And then from there, we'll see it continue to trickle down into this market cycle's small caps, or maybe exciting tokens that a bunch of us in the panel are privy to, but your average retail investor has no idea that they exist. Generally speaking, if you're retail, if it does not exist in a centralized exchange, it does not exist to you. You have no idea that it's a real thing. You don't know anything about a DEX. You have no idea how to operate it. I've got friends who have been trading on and off with me since 2016, and every time they come back to market, I have to explain absolutely fucking everything to them again. They say, well, these coins that were shit 2 years ago are doing well now. Maybe I should continue to buy. This is the experience for any of us who have over the years roped our friends into this Web3 ecosystem, and it'll continue to be the experience moving forward. I think it's important for people to realize that, yes, while shitcoins are really hot right now, the overwhelming majority of traders lose. Shitcoins is not a everybody wins market. It's not an everybody will make a bunch of money over the course of the next couple of weeks. And right now we've got two sort of cycles operating in tandem. You've got the deep shitcoin trenches going absolutely bonkers. And unless you're somebody like ICO who has more time in the day than everybody else, I don't know how the fuck that guy's a lawyer and does everything that he does in the meme coin trenches. If you're not him, you're behind on the meme coin perspective. And if you're not somebody who has had time in the market and has been DCAing some of these large caps over the course of the last couple of years and throughout the bear, then you're probably behind on that segment as well. Not NFA, but I would sit back if I'm in one of those two categories. I would wait for things to shake out a little bit, and then I would take one or two bets on a couple of the newer small to medium cap tokens that we think have the potential to run over the course of the next few years, and just sit on your hands. The biggest and best trading strategy for the overwhelming majority of people in Web3 is to pick one or two winners, buy it, lose the fucking keys for a few years, and then find them 3 years down the line. Because if you're trying to time the market, you're going to lose. There's an old adage, it's time in market is better than timing the market. And for the overwhelming majority of traders, buy with conviction, forget that you bought it, check in a couple of years.
Wow, it's like you're talking directly at me, Knock. Don't worry, I hear you, brother. Tony P, over to you, bud.
And I got a call as you tossed it to me. Yeah, I think similarly to the folks that are suggesting caution, that is the right and responsible thing to do. I will say that I am not doing that, and and not financial advice. Don't do anything that I'm saying. But let me tell you, I made $100 last night, just ladder trading or whatever the hell you call it on Pump.Fun. I was watching a guy dressed as Elmo, and his name, the name of the coin was Elmo Quant. Not chilling. Don't buy it. I think it already nuked. But it may be like the most entertaining thing I've ever done in my life. Like, I've done a lot of really fun things. I work in video games, but the feeling of shit posting with 100 degenerates on Pump.Fun and making $100 is like pretty undeniable. I'm actually really excited to talk to the Bettners about thousands this week when we meet up, because the more I'm exposed to this level of degeneracy, the more I think there really is like a Black Mirror level of opportunity here.
Wow, Black Mirror level of opportunity might be the best descriptive sentence I've ever heard for Pump.Fun. Let's send it over to Anmositos.
Yeah, look, I think you can't be any more bullish than when you realize Sinjin is so like hand rested and ready. he is fully on board with this entire phase of the cycle, more so than even like our D&D group. Love to see it. Very much a bottom signal, up only from here. I second Knox's advice 110%. Don't screw this up, guys. Be allocated wherever you're going. Just be allocated, okay? Pick the winners that you believe in, and be there, because now is the time to be active. I think all of us that are probably on the panel, many of those in our audience, I see so many names that I recognize, so many PFPs. You have been around for so long, we have been burned for so long that everyone's just waiting for the other shoe to drop and the downside to come in. Doesn't mean you're not going to have pullbacks. Doesn't mean things are not going to look sad for a little while. But this is the time of the market cycle to be present, and to not screw this up by trying to get too super cute.
All right, lesson learned. Again, not financial advice. We're going to move on to the next topic. Appreciate everybody being willing to dabble in a market thing. We don't usually talk about that, but it's different right now. You know, we've been waiting. We've probably gone 40 episodes without talking about the market in this kind of capacity, and it's been a while. So I figured we should dabble. We're going to move on. Again, shout out to Game7 for the incredible report that they put out about a week ago. One of the things that they listed really stuck out to me. Immutable and Arbitrum have been listed as having 181 and 119 titles, respectively, listed under their chains this year. So Immutable with 181 titles, Arbitrum with 119. However, neither of them seem to really be among the favored Web3 gaming ecosystems. Now, there was a time at which a chain signing a new game was seen as very bullish and people would get extremely excited about it. Now 181 of them, and it doesn't seem bullish at all. Is it official that more does not equal better in the case of chains signing games? And what do you guys need to see from Immutable or an Arbitrum for them to kind of be taken more seriously in Web3 gaming? I think Knock might have had the hand up first.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a direct message to either of those two platforms, but for anybody who's operating off of metric of number of total games signed, where are they? You know what I mean? Like that's what we need to see. Where the fuck are they? We've been hearing for like 3 years now that X chain has 200 games or X agency has 150 games in the pipeline or this L2 will have 500 projects launched in the next little while. That's great. And I think from an uneducated investor perspective or a speculative perspective, when you look at a blockchain and you go, wow, they've got 300 games in the pipeline, the mental math is, well, all I need is one of those games to really hit for my investment to make sense in this ecosystem. It's more likely to hit on an ecosystem that has X number of games, and I think that was the strategy for a very long time. We've very clearly shifted to a quality matters more than quantity perspective in this space. And we're starting to see games like OTG have people come in and kick doors down to give them money so that they can get involved with their ecosystem, right? So I think we're starting to see this shift where quality games will matter a lot more than the number of titles. We want to see games that are playable. We want to see activations like what we've seen with so many titles over the course of the last little while. Shadowline, OTG, we've seen people get their hands on new parallel expansions. These things matter, and this is what's important to blockchains. You have to have a title that you can sort of quote unquote king make, that you can get behind, that you can help from a distribution layer and put not all of your eggs, but most of them into one or two baskets and hope that those titles take off. I think gone are the days of let's pretend like we've got 350 games that nobody's ever seen, that nobody will ever see, and expect that to be the bull sign for operating within our blockchain. Games are playable, games are coming online, games have been in the market for 2 or 3 years. That's what matters right now.
We've got D2 Hander joining us from the top rope. I'm going to send it over to him, get his win.
Yeah, I mean, I think a bigger problem in our industry is every game is kind of siloed around, whatever chain that they're on. That's fundamentally a friction point that, prevents users from being able to freely explore all the different gaming experiences that Web3 has to offer. In my mind, the future is total chain abstraction. It shouldn't matter what chain. It doesn't matter if it's on Immutable X. It doesn't matter if it's on Arbitrum or Avalanche or ETH or whatever. People should be able to manage in-game assets through a single platform, and that platform should be completely chain agnostic. I think that's when we start to really bring in the user bases and remove a lot of the friction points that keep a lot of the noobs and Web2 gamers away from our industry.
Great take, short and sweet. I loved it. Let's go over to Tony V.
You know what I say whenever we talk about credibility and people feeling like the story is real? My boy Jerry, he said it correctly. Show me the money, and that's all that matters. I'm not gonna lie. You can talk about a bazillion users and all of the wallets in the world, and unless you're making money, it just kind of doesn't matter because you can't make business decisions and survive. And so kind of echoing what Knock was saying, I think that it's going to be clearly defined by who's able to create a commercially viable business out of the content that they've signed, and then like traditional gaming, there will emerge um, mainstays or household names in the vertical or the space, and then some of the current incumbents, like we're already seeing with Eve Online and Ubisoft, will start moving over. But really, the first time someone makes $100 million as a franchise, as a Web3 franchise, because of Web3, that's when we're off to the races.
Like all takes that agree with Jerry's, I hated it. Thanks, Tony. Let's go over. I'm just kidding. This is a good take. Let's go over to Jerry, and then we'll tag in Mr. Wagner.
Yeah, it's a great and powerful. Tony V once said, "Show me the money," and I think that's all that matters. So, um, listen, I think Immutable's done this for a few years. They've always kind of celebrated the successes of their BD team, and they probably have the best BD team out there. If you're just looking at numbers, so that's great. But us as people who just want to see this industry go forward, do we give a fuck about that? Like, no, not really. And the numbers of onboarding, so many games. A lot of those games are probably Polygon games too, so it's like built in for those to make the jump because Immutable is building with Polygon now. So I think the number is less impressive than when you start to like dissect that a little bit. But um, I think Nox just nails it. And Immutable and Arbitrum have these games that people are really excited about. Look at the Born List or look at Raven Quest. But they're kind of on the. It feels like from the outside perspective, and I don't know anything inside, but it feels like they're just on these islands and they're expected to do it all themselves. Whereas you see other ecosystems are taking their games and making them flagship titles and doing whatever they can to support them. And we don't know what that support means. We don't know if there's financial support for marketing assistance or UA budgets or anything. But it's clear that those chains and those ecosystems are king making certain games, whereas an Immutable doesn't feel like they're doing that. And they're also, I think, not doing a great job of getting people to just champion them. I think Arbitrum does a decent job of this, but the clear, examples of this are AVAX. Every time I fucking open Twitter, I knew one of my friends is an AVAX ambassador or an AVAX partner or something. I'm like, I don't even know what this means, but I just see the fucking red sign on my timeline all the time. And these other ecosystems don't do things like that. And just building foundationally from the ground up is the most important thing. Landing games onto your chain ultimately doesn't matter. It feels like a KPI that's just really out of touch with what this industry wants to see chains be. And I think that when you tweeze that out a little bit, it makes sense why some of these guys are winning these awards, and I'm sure that was a landslide win, and why in that award category, some people just feel like they got left in the dust.
Yeah, I want to give another double down sort of shout out to Avalanche for the fact too that like it, you didn't see all these signings that they're doing now whenever there was like zero games on Avalanche, right? They waited until they had the proof and the things for people to actually engage with on a deeper level before they did the giant wave of onboarding. They did things before like sponsoring this show, which I'm incredibly grateful for. But this show is about the entirety of the market and it didn't really need AVAX topics in order to function, right? So now that everything is coming available and it's part of the psychology of the space, now it's time for them to activate and go really hard in Web3, and it's great to see them taking that next step because I think it is necessary. But we had the Immutable program previously, and like I remember some of my friends signed onto it and they were like, I don't know what to do because a lot of these games are just not ready for us, right? So you just kind of bull tweet, but then it goes into the abyss and doesn't really feel like it makes a substantial impact. Let's go over to Swagner.
Well, I'm never following Jerry on a response ever again, but I don't really have any specific comments with respect to either the Immutable or Arbitrum ecosystems. I did also want to say that I think Knock nailed it with respect to like quality over quantity. The numbers don't really matter. I mean, Steam has 50,000 plus games on it, and you're never going to play 99% of them. And it's even like more extreme in crypto where we don't even know if these products will come to market. So, um, so I don't think the numbers are significant in any meaningful way. I think it's what is being played and what's active. I would speak more from the game developer perspective of this, which is seeing the meta emerge, wherein these protocols, layer ones, they are acting and kind of replacing the role of a traditional publisher. They are helping to cross promote and co-market these games that are launching, right? And it's important, and it is a symbiotic and mutually beneficial relationship because what the chains understand, and I don't necessarily know like what the dynamic is with AVAX, by the way, on how their layer ones work. I just don't know the tokenomics or any of that. But generally speaking, um, these games are going to be bringing users to that blockchain, and that's incredibly powerful. They are wallet downloads. And I think a big part of our philosophy at Star Atlas is getting people into crypto, not abstracting away blockchain. Yes, making it easy to onboard, but educating people that there are so many other opportunities in this alternative financial ecosystem that is crypto. Once you get them into the entertainment product, like we're not trying to get people into Star Atlas and lock them in there. We want them to know that there's so much more out there. I think the protocols realize that a game that succeeds is going to bring thousands, tens of thousands, maybe millions of users to that blockchain. And so they benefit substantially, and the entire ecosystem benefits if that game succeeds. And so we see the chains, what I think will be the most successful ones are the ones that are supporting games because they see that there are tangential benefits to doing so.
Maria doubling down on some of the comments we've already heard, saying, "Show me the profit is what I would ask from these chains. Let's send it over to Sinjin and then to Animositas."
Yeah, so for me, like all these metrics are generally how do I like they're kind of insignificant because if you kind of zoom out to where we are as an industry and industry stage, right? We haven't really established, a winning formula for any of these, Web3 models yet, and we're still trying to figure that out. Coupled by the fact that um, creating a game itself is quite the task, and then putting a model that will really work hasn't been proven yet. And so it's not about like um, how many games you have that have the potential to possibly make it work or not. I mean, that's not how this this process works, especially at this stage of the industry. It's about like one or two or three games that really have something special, something that will actually scale, be sustainable, work with an open economy. These ideas of like friction or, making it easier to onboard and stuff like that. It will make a massive difference to optimize, right? But is it really the 10x to really onboard individuals? And I'm definitely on the camp of no. If you zoom out, right? If you're looking at this and you're saying, this is where the industry is, and we're just going to kind of progress from here, not realizing that there's a whole level of like kind of pre established Web3 gaming models and then post Web3 gaming models, then of course you're going to think like, okay, well, it really does matter what's going on right now. It matters what the publishers are doing and stuff like this in terms of the blockchains, right? But even the publishing model here isn't established yet. And I think what you're going to find is the companies or the studios who are kind of creating a bespoke approach or their own approach for their own game in terms of how they're going to distribute it. They're going to be successful first. The only question for me really is that no doubt, a few hit games with revenues are going to really start to make the market. But how much is the first mover advantage here in terms of like will they end up dominating that genre? Will there be space for other people because of the network effects that end up coming in? And if you guys are not familiar too much with network effects, it's fundamentally is that when one game comes in, and if they're multiplayer or they have a certain asset that is being used in their ecosystem, and that creates a kind of moat by the number of players using it, that the player's mind share or their time is really soaked up. And every other game that comes in, if you look at like first person shooters especially, if they're not creating something very, very innovative, they're unable to kind of break through. And we see that as also a hurdle for us in Web3, in the sense that, like the games that are clones of Web2 games, if their open economy or their Web3 aspect isn't a 10x, right? They're not competitive on that side as well. And so I think, all of this is really interesting to talk about, but it's still within this kind of pre Web3 gaming industry, right? So I'm really interested to see who kind of breaks the mold here. But I would suspect that, it's not even about numbers. It's just about, at the end of the day, the revenue will prove a model out. And then once that model's out, then let's see how many, games are out there that adopt like different hybrid versions of a winning model. And then let's see where the industry is really at.
Great stuff, Sinjin. Let's go to Annie, then to Knock to tell us why 181 and 119 games signed to a chain maybe isn't a big deal.
Hmm. We can never forget that it is a hit-driven industry, and I'm actually not just talking about gaming. I'm talking about Web3. It's immensely better to have one game that actually gains 100,000 players or 1,000,000 players than to have 10 or 100 games that are each getting a few thousand. And like orders of magnitude better. The panel's been really great at this, talking about the network effects, talking about the traction that one studio having massive success is going to breed additional success of other projects coming in. I think the quantity matters not a bit. The quality for your top one or two titles for that are on your blockchain is the metric that actually matters. So if you want to look at which blockchains are doing the best, take the top 3 games that exist by whatever metric you want, whether you're looking at revenue, player base, etc. That's the metric that needs to be looked at, not any sort of total count of games or all wallets across all different titles that exist on the chain. That's what matters. And so definitely kudos to the teams that have really prioritized that. This really recognizes that there is a massive advantage to having momentum and attention on you in gaming and in Web3. And the last point that I want to note, again, kudos to the AVAX team. When AVAX Lizards, we need to get some sponsorship support here too. I do think that the visibility has been really, really good over the past 2 or 3 months. And at the end of the day, it comes back to the products that are being launched. The support of the chains. I think Wagner hit on this point really well. The chains that are acting more like publishers are the ones that, to me, appear to be getting the best opportunities to bring the best games in. And that's because, frankly, there's a complete dearth of publishers in the entire industry. Somebody should do something about that.
Well said, Annie. Let's go to Knock.
Yeah, I'm looking at this from like a purely consumer experience perspective, not necessarily from a revenue perspective, because I think that this will end up sorting itself anyway. But I'll use Netflix and Apple TV as 2 examples. Netflix boasts like over 18,000 titles, but really they've got like 40 that are worth watching. And I think what happens for a lot of people when you go on Netflix is you scroll through Netflix for 20 minutes trying to figure out something to watch. You get frustrated, you probably don't watch Netflix that night unless it's a specific show that you've gone in with the intention of watching it. You scroll through the catalog, you get overwhelmed, you fuck off. This happens to me with Uber Eats, it happens to me with anytime there's too many options. I scroll and I scroll and I scroll and then I fuck off. Most of my time on those platforms is scrolling through the catalog. And in comparison, when you look at something like Apple TV, they've got like 250 titles. But anytime one launches on Apple TV, it's going to be an absolute fucking banger. Ted Lasso, Slow Horses, For All Mankind, Silo, Bad Monkey, Severance. Every one of those shows bangs. They're always great. And anytime Apple TV releases a new one, I go to it, I watch it, I pay attention because they have had a history of curating content that is really well thought out and really well put together and is probably worth my time. I only have so much time. I can't watch 2 shows at once and I can't play 2 games at once unless it's RuneScape, in which case there's always time for RuneScape. But the point being, Avalanche and Ronin have, as 2 examples, have positioned themselves as blockchains and ecosystems where when I announce a game has moved to Ronin or a game has moved to Avalanche or a game will be on one of those 2 blockchains, I immediately go to check it out because they have a track record of delivering quality titles from quality teams, games that people in Web3 and beyond ought to pay attention to. When you're talking about a catalog of 200 or 300 or 400 games and you have to search through 50 of them to find one that, one, fucking works, and 2, is worth any amount of your time, it becomes less likely that as a consumer, I want to spend time on those platforms because now you're asking me to do the curation work. You're asking me to comb through 50 or 60 garbage titles before I find something that I'm interested in. Whereas blockchains that make the effort to act as pseudo publishers or make the effort to king make titles have done that curation for you. And it might not be my game, it might not be a title I'm excited about. I might think the game sucks, but I'm still more likely to go and check out a title that is announcing that they're launching on Avalanche or Ronin than just about anywhere else because they have a track record of content curation. I think it's incredibly important to not underestimate how important 3 to 5 titles that are worth people's times are when it comes to, a blockchain, when it comes to a streaming service, when it comes to just about any amount of content. It's incredibly important. This is the reason why platforms like X and YouTube spend so much time and money trying to create algorithms to curate content that they think you will like for you so you don't have to go through 14 trillion videos on YouTube to find something that you're interested in. All you need to do is click the homepage and find something that's exciting. And the YouTube algorithm has been good to me a million times before. It'll continue to be good to me probably every time I go onto that platform now. Curation matters. That's where blockchains like Avalanche and Ronin in particular excel.
That was a great take, Knock. The only thing I'll push back on is the YouTube algorithm kind of sucks lately, dude. I don't know what they're doing over there, but it feels like they've fallen off their fucking horse and can't get back onto it. And it's garbage every time I go on there. I don't know what's going on. But while the rest are stuck smashing keyboards and shouting at servers, Avalanche is busy rewriting the blockchain playbook with AVAX 9000. Launching your own L1 is so seamless; it's practically an art form. Why settle for playing when somebody else's sandbox when you can build your own kingdom? With Avalanche, you're not just making the rules; you're not just following the rules. Excuse me, you're making them. This isn't just wishful thinking; it's already happening. Heavy hitters like Solo Leveling, T1 Esports, and more are creating custom-built gaming ecosystems powered by their very own Avalanche L1. Sorry, my brain is already on holiday. Thanks to Avalanche for being the official blockchain of Gamified. And gamers, put down that Mountain Dew and listen to this. With a GDP totaling $21 million, this game is already a small country. Star Atlas's economic engine is already up and running, but they're not just about numbers, they're about impact. Proven when over 1,700 eager players attended their Impact Summit in Singapore to see them setting the standard for a player-powered universe. Star Atlas is all about player empowerment, as demonstrated by the recent Golden Carnival, a mind-blowing $4 million giveaway proving that they reward those brave enough to explore the stars. Thank you to Star Atlas, the official game of Gamified. And as we reach the midpoint of our galactic mission, it's time to highlight the essential part of your gaming arsenal, StarNet. StarNet is the next generation ad network powering $100 billion spent per year on user acquisition. If you're looking to do user acquisition for mobile games on Android or iOS, StarNet can boost you into the spotlight. Thank you to StarNet for being the official infrastructure of Gamified. And that means that we're jumping into our next topic. We got story time. Story time is going to get kicked off with the birthday boy himself. It's Dub. Dub, I want to hear about this parallel pack opening experience that we had with the YGG Esports at the Creator Den. We did a live pack opening of Aftermath packs at the Creator Den with the YGG guys. And man, it was awesome. There was so many clips that we haven't even been able to release yet, but every 5 minutes the room was screaming about another pull. The pack opening videos were so good that Illuvium founder Kieran Warwick actually posted publicly saying that he would give Illuvitar packs to any of us that wanted to live stream it. What's the word? But first, we're going to Dub. Dub, what was your experience at the Creator Den with the YGG guys?
Dude, it was absolutely nuts. And sorry, of course, the dogs are going crazy. One sec here.
Shout out to Grandma's poodle.
Shout out to the poodles. And it was nuts. It was like we knew that this expansion pack was dropping. We knew it was happening from day one when we were out there. The first thing we did was reach out to the Parallel boys and see like what more packs we can get for free from the team to open during that night. There's shout out to Fitch. He hooked us up with a ton of the digital packs to open. And then shout out to Koji, who gave us an entire box to open of the physicals as well. So we essentially spent the week scrounging up as many physical and digital packs that we could find, from Pokemon cards to Soulforge Fusion packs. The idea was just to open it all essentially that night. And it was so funny too, being the very last night, we got all the homies to sign up and come. Ali was going to show up. The YGG team was going to show up. And then it was literally the last night, and we had karaoke kind of pop up out of nowhere and overlap a little bit with our plans. So basically everyone went to karaoke while me and Sam kind of prepped the house, and we got all of our whole like video set up and used Seabass and him picking out his new Soulbound Wolf PFP as like a testing ground for that. So we got everyone hyped, we got the mood right, and then it was like literally 1 a.m. and we get word that the taxis are jacked and that it's going to take forever to get to the house. And me and Sam start kind of like stressing at that point. We're dead exhausted because it's the last day. And on top of it, it's like 1:30 in the morning. And then out of nowhere, just all of a sudden everyone was there. And all the boys showed up. All the YGG crew was all of a sudden in the living room. And we started with my packs, and we went from being like dead exhausted to the most alive I've ever been. And same with Sam. Like literally it was just dopamine. It was just dumbfounding thinking about how a digital like experience that these guys whipped up is able to take these guys who are literally dead and reinvigorate us. The chase cards being for Parallel were these beta and alpha cards, which got you a VIP experience to like go to this glass shop and essentially get like a masterpiece or an avatar. And I went first. I unfortunately didn't pull one of those. But we switched over to Sequinox, who's one of the esports guys, and he opened his packs and hit one of those beta, and he was the first one to hit one of these beta cards, alpha being the better one, but beta still being a really good one, and everyone just lost their shit. I was like, we were worried about getting kicked out at that point. It was like literally 2:30, 3 a.m. and it was just everybody going nuts. We switched over to Tyler at that point, and had Tyler open up some packs, and the motherfucker hit a beta too, and everyone just lost their absolute minds at this point. And we switched over to good old little Saigo at that point, who he had sent me some Prime. I had sent him some Prime back to try to get him at packs to open. He was struggling with it. He whipped out the credit card and just bought like 3 of them right then and there to make it happen. And on his third pack, he hit an alpha, which was just insane. No one thought that was going to happen. We literally everyone lost their mind at that point. And I was just so glad that it was Saigo out of all people. And the running joke was the dude who literally only got 3 packs compared to all of us who had like maxed our packs at 10, essentially hit the grand prize, right? We continued to open packs with a lot of other people. It got to the point where it was like 3:30, 4 a.m. and it was like we still had plenty of packs to open, but everyone was dog tired. And it was like, guys, go home. Like, this has been amazing as is. Congrats on the winnings. We sent the boys out, and then as Sam was sending people out, I couldn't stop. So I bought 10 more packs. And I started ripping those open because I'd be damned if I wasn't going to get my own alpha or beta. And we just sat there and opened packs, just me and Sam privately until like 5 a.m. Where at which point we had to switch to actually packing and cleaning their B&B and getting up there. So we literally spent the entire night, about 6 hours, ripping open parallel packs, and kept doing it just because of how good the digital experience was, and just how much hype and everything we got from that. I don't think I missed much. Anything I missed there, Sam?
Yeah, the only thing that I would add to it is if anybody didn't experience it themselves, I think what Parallel did really well is there was basically these like hints whenever you would hover over, if anybody played Hearthstone instead of Parallel, you know that whenever you hover over a card, it would basically say like it's either blue or purple or orange, and that kind of indicates what rarity the color of or the card is going to be whenever you open it. And Parallel, because they had what they called a alpha, a beta, a perfect loop, a special edition, and I think two or three other variants of what a card could be. And that basically created this energy where like no matter what pack we opened, people were freaking out because they were like, "Oh, what light green? What the fuck does light green mean?" And like the crowd would just go insane until we figured it out, and then everybody would calm down again. And it created this experience that was so incredible. And I was just kind of shook. Like I don't know if I've ever been in a room with people doing something like that where everybody was so locked in, whether it was for them or not. And at the end of somebody opening packs, everybody would like clap and scream again because they were just so excited about the stuff that was opened. And so I wanted to open it up. I see a couple of hands. We'll go to those. But I want to ask the rest of the panel too, what's the word for a pack opening experience in Web3 that kind of gets that visceral reaction out of people? And I'm kind of glad that Koji isn't here because if anybody wants to shit on it instead, like by all means, feel free. But let's go to Jerry.
I think he might be rugging. It says connecting, and it showed him back in listener for me.
Down bad. Over to you then, Len.
All right. Well, I don't have a word because I wasn't prepared for that. I'll just say immersive because I think overall, I think what Parallel have done, they've always focused on the experience, right? And it's even like watching the videos of you guys opening those packs and just seeing the energy there. It reminded me of like when we and NFT mints were a lot hotter, and reveal day was always an exciting thing. And I think people sort of just assumed it was just because of the financialized aspect of like, oh, if you pull a rare or like sell before reveal so that you don't have to like get the post reveal dump or this sort of thing. And I feel like people just kind of, I don't know, moved away from it, and like revealed sort of just faded out and were like not as much of a big deal anymore. And there's a few projects that like I remember the experience where they gamified the reveal process, or you could like re-roll or something, and all of those were always the most memorable. And I feel like we need to like focus on more of that in Web3. And it's not just about the financial aspect of like pulling a rare that's worth a lot of money. It's actually just the whole experience that comes with it. And like just shout out to Parallel for that. They've done it from the get-go where they've had these actual interactive experience where you actually feel something. You get that like suspense and build up as you're opening it, just like when you open a physical card pack. And I think we need to focus on that a lot more in Web3 because it can't just always be about like price. It needs to like actually, the way it makes people feel is such an important part, and especially in gaming.
Let's try to
Yeah,
send
it
it.
was. I was going to say it was also crazy that Tyler, he was opening some physicals while opening his digitals, and he pulled a hollow out of the physicals while while doing this too, and it like literally both brought the same level of excitement, and it was just nuts.
Yeah, and I think some of the people that have been at conferences with me here, Sinjin and Jerry, probably especially, can attest to how much I demand that I have my sleep. Like I will pass up on some pretty epic events in order to go to bed because of the health issues that I've had in the past, and I firmly believe that sleeping is something that helps me not go down that road again. But as soon as these dudes started ripping fucking packs, I was just like, all right, I'm pulling it all nighter, boys. It was so fun that I don't know, I was just wide awake at like 5 in the morning. Jerry, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, I think the word here is nostalgia. And I had actually I wasn't there for this, but I was watching it when you guys were posting, and it was like really fun to watch. But in a more silly version of this, like the first night, a bunch of the nerds that we were hanging out with like circled up, and they all opened their Pokemon packs for that day. And then like Pachara got like a rare one or whatever, right? And she got so excited. And I think just like anybody who has ever collected, like this is Lem's, talked about like art reveals for NFTs, like, there's something that speaks to, like, the small child in all of us that remembers getting a Pokemon pack or a pack of hockey cards if you're a knock or something. I don't wanna talk about baseball and get yelled at. So, I think that it really hits on that. But I see something a little different than, like, I think what you guys saw was just this really fun and exciting thing. What I saw, the marketer in me goes like
they need to take all this content to TikTok, right? And they need to start like using this all as like brand building and just starting to post these videos and people watch them and going like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Like, what is this game? You know, aren't using that to, go post and use as marketing material. You're missing a huge opportunity, and I think that could play so well to, the tournaments, right? Get guys on stage opening packs, when they do the Vegas thing, give the shoutcasters some packs to open up, right? Like there's a huge opportunity here.
Yeah, very, very important point there, Jerry. I completely agree. Because at the end of the day, whenever you watch people react to things, it's only like 20% about the actual content and 80% about just reacting to other reactions. I didn't even know if most of the cards that were being opened were good or not. But whenever Tyler and Sequinox and Fino screamed, I was like, oh shit, they did it. Like I felt it in my bones. Swagner, over to you.
Well, I loved Dub's story. Like we all ended up on the same flight back from Philippines, landing in SFO. Caught you guys in the morning, and Sam, I knew you had passed out like immediately when you got onto the plane. We all saw the pictures of you sleeping on Icy's shoulder for the whole flight. But now I got the full backstory, so that was pretty cool. The word for me though is addictive with these. I think like some of the best either loot crate openings or pack openings, it should be an addictive experience. Lems really touched on this. He was talking about how immersive it is, and I think especially from a digital experience, being able to present something to people that includes SFX, VFX. But of course, the rarity, the unveiling, it all goes into it. But it like if the person does not want to open that next card or open that next pack, then I think you're probably doing it wrong. Like we just launched our crew packs a few weeks back, maybe two months ago now, and we've got some great videos on X of people that have opened them, and they like only a few of the anomaly crew members have been discovered, but we actually used clips of that in our keynote presentation at Breakpoint and at our summit because just like it's the emotion that is being shared there is so incredible, and you just want other people to see that. And so, I think it needs to be emotional, but it also needs to be addictive.
Yeah, shout out to the pack opening experience you guys created as well. I think it was awesome too. Let's go over to Annie, then we'll tag in Knock.
Yeah, the word for this is voyeuristic. We like to watch each other as humans, and I'm talking about card packs, guys. Get your mind out of the gutter, Knock. Listen, we have already seen in gaming for decades that when you get the opportunity to watch other people gain NFTs or gain in-game assets, it becomes a game in and of itself. Counter Strike, literally, there's like nine figures worth of transactions every year. People watching others participate and open up card packs, effectively loot boxes in Counter Strike and other games. This is an entire subgenre of the gaming industry, and the idea that there's not going to be even more excitement around this in Web3 when you add NFTs and asset ownership in ways that are just next level compared to traditional gaming is absurd, right? So we know there's demand for this. Having built an entire platform, in this case with Illuvium and Battle in the Beyond, like it makes the experience 10 times better when you can gamify that opening experience with other people, when you can have battles, when you can have the ability to spectate, when you have the ability to wager on the outcome of that. All of those mechanics are things that just make the entire process much stickier. And so, from a player perspective, it becomes more fun. We also know why that is, right? From a psychological standpoint, from a biological standpoint, when you have this experience with other people together, even if it's virtual, it literally is drawing connections between your brains to the other people that are participating in this sort of activity. And so, I expect that we're going to see many, many more platforms begin to appear. We're going to see a lot more studios that are focused on creating top shelf IP that create physical packs as well. because again, this just makes good content, and we know that content creators are part of the lifeblood of the gaming ecosystem. And so when you can give content creators more ways to showcase stuff, it just makes it better. And that's true whether it's swag or in this case, unknown card packs, because that randomization element is really meaningful. And I think the examples of reveal day for NFTs is another good parallel for this, no pun intended, that really showcases the advantage of having uncertainty in the outcome of what you're going to be opening. So very bullish on platforms, on game studios, on ecosystems that are leveraging these mechanics because gamers want them.
Great takes from the CEO. Knock, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the rules like I always do, Sam, and give you 2 words. Um, Tetris effect. It's the idea that when you spend so much time participating or focusing on an activity, that activity begins to like sort of imprint in your brain. You think about it when you're not doing that thing, you start dreaming about that thing, you see it everywhere you go. This happens to a lot of people, especially when it comes to video games. It's part of what made something like Pokemon so exciting when we were kids and we were playing this game. Is, let's face it, the way 90% of us played Pokemon growing up was, here's your starter, we're going to kill everything with our fucking starter, and we're going to go through the entire game with our starter, and you're going to have some like random Pokemon on your bench that maybe have a couple of HMs, but you never really use them. You're only focused on one thing. That's not what made Pokemon the game so exciting as a kid. What made Pokemon the game so excited was the ability to go to school and talk to your friends about something that they found in the game, or go down this particular route and you might catch this Pokemon called an unknown. And it was this rumor mill that began when you're talking about the game itself outside of the gameplay experience. What Parallel has done, and what many card games aim to do, is create some form of non video game activity that makes people talk and think and get excited about the game. I hear a rumor that Sam pulled a very expensive or a rare card from a pack. The first thing that I'm going to do is probably look into buying more of those packs. We're seeing this in real time with Pokemon TCG. I've got a group of friends who will send their pulls, and if they pull a pack or they pull a really rare card, the first thing that I do is go, well, fuck, he's pulled a card. I've got to hop in. I've got to pull or open a couple packs myself to see if I can replicate that experience. And really magical games create moments outside of the core gameplay, moments where you don't need to really physically be playing the game, but you're still participating within that universe. It captures more and more mind share of people within the ecosystem, and it creates more fond bonds and memories within those titles themselves. Somebody who might not play Parallel will look at the videos that you guys have posted, and I know that I have, and see, hey, that looks like a ton of fun. I want to rip some packs. I want to open some digital packs. I want the thrill of maybe getting something that is rare or expensive, and the opportunity to maybe parlay that into me trying and playing the game a little bit deeper. I think that that's a moment that most games overlook. How you can get people excited about your ecosystem even when they're not playing the game is an art form. It's something that very, very few games have been able to do long term. And again, being the RuneScape not with Leagues 5 just launching, I'll give you a real life example. They released information about leagues. Leagues is an augmented way to play the game. You get relics that increase things like XP rates and special abilities and all kinds of items. And what happened in the 2 weeks leading up to the launch of Leagues today was most people stopped playing RuneScape and they spent more time on forums like Reddit and theory crafting about how to best interact with the league's format based off of the information that we have. And now what you see is RuneScape's playing to like about 250 to 300,000 people right now, behind only things like Dota and a couple of other titles, CS2 on the Steam charts. But it's these theory crafting moments, or these moments outside of gameplay, that really create special bonds in a player's mind with the actual title itself. And I think for a lot of you guys that were there, that were ripping packs, you probably look at Parallel in a much more exciting light than you did even if you weren't a player of the game. And I think for us that weren't there, I'm looking forward to the next time I get to see you guys at an event so that we can rip Parallel packs, even though I'm not somebody who plays the game. So creating these outside of game moments, creating these almost like Tetris effect moments for people is incredibly special. It's incredibly difficult to execute upon. Most teams will never be able to do it. Half teams don't even think about what this is at all. But I think it's something that is special. It's what makes gaming so much fun, and it recreates a lot of these nostalgic moments from our childhood playing games. really special. To Jerry's point, think that they should absolutely blast this on all social media platforms as much as humanly possible. But these types of moments need to be well thought out. You need to be intentional about creating systems outside of the gaming ecosystem that gives people the moments that you guys had there in Manila, opening those packs.
That's a great point, Doc. My first reaction after we had this experience was, I wonder if there's any world in which I can convince Koji to just release parallel expansion at like all the key conferences. Like, could I have him just line up the next one to like release during GDC so that we could do this again? And then I don't know, 2049 Singapore, so we could do this again.
They should, right? They should. It's too good not to.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's like free viral marketing for them, and it kind of reminds me of Karate Combat. Like it's the really nerdy version
Yeah.
of like an event that happens at the conference that everybody wants to go to.
Dude, imagine like your favorite player, opening a pack on stage in front of fucking everybody watching for the tournament, and the whole place fucking freaking out. You're gonna tell me that's not gonna go viral like immediately? It's a solid strategy, and I really do think they should adopt it.
Dude, at the Parallel World Championships, we could just bring people up from the audience, and it's like you keep what you rip open. Oh, dude, people would lose it, dude. That'd be so fun. Okay, we're
Yeah,
gonna move
dude.
on. Sorry.
I feel bad. I was just gonna say I feel bad for throwing my freaking booster packs into the crowd now. When I was shoutcasting, I should have been freaking ripping them myself.
Yeah, Dub got way too excited whenever we told him he could throw things into the audience during the Wolves takeover of the stage, and he straight up ninja starred this kid in the forehead with a pack of parallel cards. The dude was stunned, like he just got hit by a flashbang for like 15 seconds, but hopefully he got a legendary to make it all worth it. We're gonna move on to our last topic of the day. Again, a little bit of a shorter episode just because Thanksgiving's coming up. We're gonna do a quick fire. Okay, there's multiple different quick fires here. We're gonna see how many we can get through before the end of the show in about 15 minutes. What's one ridiculous prediction for this bull run is number one. So start thinking about that. If anybody doesn't remember, we haven't done quick fire in a while. Essentially, we want 30-second or less responses. What's one ridiculous prediction for this bull run? Dub has the hand up, then I'll go to Swagner.
Meme coins are sustainable.
Wow, short and sweet, but I like it. Swagner, over to you.
I don't know if this is so much ridiculous, but yeah, back in 2017, there was the talk of the flippening with ETH potentially flipping Bitcoin. I actually think that we might see Solana flip ETH in this cycle.
Dude, I could believe it. I could believe that one. I like it. Sinjin hits us with the thumbs down though. Sinjin, do you wanna give us a rebuttal quick, 30 seconds or less?
No, good will triumph over evil in the end.
Lem's had the hand up next.
Yeah, on that one, I'll say I think that'll become a narrative this cycle, just like last cycle where ETH flipping Bitcoin and then never happened. I feel like that probably same thing for Solana. But my actual ridiculous prediction is 5 of the top 10 coins will be memes.
5 of the top 10. Wow, that would be something. Knock, over to you, buddy.
Just got fucking front ran so hard just now. I was gonna say 25% of the top 100 coins are memes, and that continues to increase every cycle.
I think that's painfully true. Maybe even a higher ratio. And Mositas.
10% of the top 100 coins will be generated not by humans but by AI.
Wow. Okay. Nobody's giving me anything about gaming, unfortunately. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Yeah, I got you, Sam. One game in the next bull run will be up for Web 2 Game of the Year.
Ooh, that's a spicy one. I like that. All right, nice work, Jerry. Way to salvage it. Okay, we move on. What's something that is true today, but you do not think it'll be true a year from today? So by the next Games GG Awards, you think it will no longer be the case. I'm gonna send it over to Lems. I'm gonna put him on the spot. Lems, do you have one in the bag for this?
No, I should have been more prepared because we had these prepared ahead of time, and I failed to do so. Oh, okay. There's another hand up, so I'm gonna pass and circle back to me.
Yeah, let's go to Annie.
There are no good publishers in Web3 gaming.
But there will be.
Exactly.
Starting with our four-legged friends. Wink, wink. Dub, over to you.
Jesus, guys, it's too easy. Come on. Web3 gaming isn't going to be inevitable. It's going to be here.
I'm just gonna have to say Web3 gaming is here every day instead. I like it. I like it. Round of applause. Anybody else have one for us? What's true today but won't be true a year from now? Lems puts the hand up. He's ready now.
I'm ready for it now. Today, NFTs are dead, but a year from now, the euphoria will be back. People think the NFT cycle won't come back. I think we'll have euphoria again. Once people got money, they'll go further out the risk curve, and we'll see the same crazy PFP ridiculous and like overvaluations all over again.
I'm gonna do a crazy one, especially given how much Doge is absolutely fucking ripping and Elon is getting more integrated in our government. I'm gonna say the market cap of all of Web3 gaming will be greater than the market cap of Doge, which I think right now it's like 25% of it or something. Please God, let that one be true. Oh, it would make me so happy. All right, we move on. Give me one spicy take about Web3 gaming, just period. And then we're going to wrap on that. One spicy take about Web3 gaming. I'm going to say the games, by and large, still suck. I don't know. I don't know if that's spicy. Jerry, over to you.
I think we all expected a lot of studios to shut down and fall apart by this point, and I think they've been given a lot of lifelines. I think you will see an absolute bleeding of studios coming soon that have like launched tokens already and not really been able to figure out where they stand in the ecosystem. So I think this bull cycle is actually going to be really brutal and scary at times for games because a lot of these guys are going to shut down because they don't have a path forward anymore.
Damn, yeah, that's a good one. You and I have talked offline about that, and I'm inclined to agree with you. I think, like you said, especially the ones that have launched tokens and have not really found product market fit with that token, it's going to be a really rough ride for them because they don't have more powder in the keg, so to speak. Dub, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, for me, the great game of 2025 that we're all going to be playing is actually already out here. It's alive and well. It probably has a community of around 100 people, but there's like thousands of these out there in the space right now, and we're just not able to discover it all. So big sleepers already out there, and they're just in random pockets of this ocean. Then we just haven't found it yet.
Knock, what say you?
Consolidation season. 90+% of all titles in Web3 gaming will die over the course of the next 18 months. The ones that don't will be way better for it and will actually have a chance to succeed beyond our little bubble.
Yeah, and just to be clear, that's basically what I mean by and large Web3 games suck. Most of them suck, but there are a few titles that I really enjoy now. What Animositas, over to you, buddy.
Over half of genres will prove that in this cycle, they have been unable to find a reason to integrate Web3 tech. And the games will just showcase that there's no utility for tokens or NFTs in the entire genre.
Dang, that one is spicy. Knock, you put the hand back up. Over to you.
Yeah, just as a caveat, I don't actually predict that the reason why I think so many titles will die has anything to do with whether or not the game is good. I think plenty of really high quality games will die. I think the reason why they'll die is because we've seen this in traditional markets. Teams run out of runway, they're unable to go back to market to raise, they've run out of manpower. For one reason or another, they can't make it work. And what we've seen last year was a decrease in funding, and I think what we're about to see is a massive increase in funding in Web3 gaming, only it'll be significantly more concentrated and proven winners this time around, and it won't be as spray and pray as it was in 21.
That was a great way to elaborate on it. Thanks for keeping it short and sweet. Swagner, over to you, buddy.
I think Knox got the super contrarian take, man. More money flowing into the market, and this is when we see the collapse. I don't know. I think after 18 months, we start to see the fall off. But I've been saying this forever. Play to earn's not dead. It's still here. It's going to thrive in the next 18 months as well.
Ooh, that is an interesting one. I've been talking a lot about how player acquisition does seem to be like the current product market fit for Web3 gaming and the access point for a lot of people. Lems, over to you, buddy.
Over the course of the next 12 months, we're going to see more AI agents playing games than human players, and you won't actually be able to tell though. It's going to be the key difference between current bots, and we talk about like we rag on people with their inflated numbers and unique active wallets, and it's a lot of just like shitty bots. but we're going to see agents that are actually like, can replicate humans, and people actually won't be able to tell the difference.
That one's definitely coming eventually. Sinjin, over to you.
That there will be 3 Web3 gaming tokens that will hit in the top 100 before the end of this year.
Let's go. Wait, before the end of this year? Well, like a year from now?
Sorry, by the end of next year. Sorry, next
I
year.
was like, fuck,
I was like,
Sorry.
Jesus.
that one was
I'm already
spicy.
in 2025.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I'm there too. Especially with the Games Awards being in November, it just feels like it is the end of the year. Knock, what you got, bud? Knock.
Yeah,
Did
I'll
Ru-
add on to Lem's take and argue that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, yep.
He's got...
Hello? We
Yeah.
good?
You're pump faking me, brother.
You're like muting yourself. Yeah, like I
I'm
don't
getting
know.
faced. I'm getting fucking rugged by Elon again. I was gonna say I'll add on to Lem's take and say player experience will dramatically increase with the advent of more AI agents playing in games. I think the idea of like matchmaking in SBMM and all these different ways to place players with players of similar skill has been an absolute fucking disaster. Everybody who's ever played a game that has some implementation of it fucking hates it. I think the idea that we can get a better and more accurate and more consistent level of play from AI agents that are modeled after human play will be a better experience for everybody in public matches and in competitive play.
Dude.
I hate this take, dude.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say I love that take. Damn, Jerry, give us the rebuttal real quick.
I just did we fucking get into this shit to fucking 360 no scope a kid and then fucking have a bot like not get pissed off at you about it, or did you do it to fucking piss people off and ruin their days? You know?
Dude, have you not seen these things? They're
As a
getting
30-year-old
sentiency.
man, Jerry.
They're going to be pissed off. Like these AI
Yeah,
agents are going to be pissed off at you.
I'm gonna say, as a 30-year-old man who plays a fuckload of COD, I piss off plenty of children on a daily basis. I think it would be fun to play with people who actually know what to do. It's unfair. It's not fun to drop like 60 kills in a lobby or drop like 4 kills in a lobby. I want intense
Speak
gameplay
for
that feels
yourself,
good.
man. I don't ever pick fights with people my size at a bar. You know, I only go for people smaller than me because I just want to win and fucking rack numbers up, dude.
Jerry's all about the body count.
Yeah, Jerry chose violence today.
All right, guys, it's time to select the MVP of the panel. Plenty to pick from, but only one can win. Knock, who you got, buddy?
You know what? I'm gonna give it to Annie.
Animositas with the nomination. Annie, who's your pick for MVP?
I gotta go for the birthday boy. Happy birthday, Dub.
Big Dub. Who you got, buddy?
I'm gonna give it to Swagner, dude. It was great to freaking hear from him, and he had amazing takes.
Big Swagner. Swagner, who you got?
Well, that's going right back to Dub, man. Had a great catch up chat with him over in the Philippines and really loved the story time.
Ah, dude, sharing the love. Jerry, what about you, bud?
I'm gonna also go Dub. Dub, I know it's been a goal of yours to cast, and it was really really fun to see you do that in person. And shout out to fucking sniping a kid in the head with a pack. That was really cool to see.
Dude, he absolutely crushed live casting the parallel match, and the hype that he brought to the stage was immeasurable. Let's go over to Sinjin. Sinjin, who you got for MVP?
Even though it's Dub's birthday, I'm gonna give it to Annie. Like I've never heard someone's. He normally doesn't soft shill so much, and so he's been doing it all episodes. So I think we better give him a hard chill.
Tony V, what about you? Tony, are you with us, brother? Tony, come back.
Dude,
Tony.
yeah, when I guest hosted for you, Sam, like you never knew if he was there or not.
He's Schrodinger's Tony.
Yeah.
You never know until you try to open the box whether or not he's gonna respond.
I'll have a word with him later. He voted for Dub, just so you know.
Lems, who you voting for, buddy?
All right, I will say, Jerry, you almost had my vote, but then you burned your bridge by shitting on the AI agents. So, it goes to my chief e-blizzard officer over here.
That means that Annie and Dub are sharing the MVP, except for Sam's going to come from the top rope and give it to the birthday boy, Dub. 60 seconds of FaceTime. What do you want to plug?
Oh man, I freaking love it. If you guys are heading to Art Basel, be sure to hit up the Glitter House. It's run by none other than Glitter Cloud Solutions, the best freaking marketing agency in Web3, founded by none other than me and Tony V and Saigo, the three musketeer wizards of Web3. Absolutely love what we're doing. We have a list of amazing clients from Warp to Soulforge, Wanderers, and Sparkball included. Reach out to us if you want to be a part of that group, and looking forward to driving Web3 home in 2025.
Oh, baby. Bringing in that new birthday year with a shorter haircut. Let's give a frosty shout out to the Avalanche of Awesomeness, by the way, powering it all. It's Avalanche, the official blockchain of Gamified. Why slog uphill with sluggish systems when Avalanche makes deploying your very own layer one smooth as a fresh coat of powder? Affordable, accessible, and absolutely arctic, Avalanche is carving the future of Web3 gaming faster than a snowboard on a double black diamond. So what are you waiting for? The slopes are open and the chairlift is of it, the chairlift to innovation is running. Jump on before the avalanche of opportunity passes you by. Thanks to AVAX, the official chain of Gamified. And let's give a thunderous thank you to Star Atlas, the official game of Gamified, our interstellar sponsor. Star Atlas has spent the bear market building a universe, pushing Web3 boundaries and setting new standards in transparency and player ownership. With Sage, a test bed for their economy, they're already processing 3.2% of all daily transactions on Solana, a feat that's no small step. Star Atlas believes in showing, not telling, so I'm not going to spoil 2025 for you yet, but go to play.staratlas.com and check out the Golden Carnival to get involved today. And remember, with Star Atlas, you're not just a player, you're a pioneer. And as we bring this wild ride to a close, let's give one last salute to the stellar sponsor, StarNet, the ad tech ace leading the charge into a new era. Say goodbye to the greedy gatekeepers and hello to a new network where you call the shots. It's a revolution of revenue, a future of fairness, and the ultimate upgrade to advertising. It's time to take back control of the official infrastructure of Gamified. Thank you to StarNet. And thank you to all of our amazing panelists and the amazing guests that joined us. I know a bunch of people are on vacation, so it feels a little bit weird today, but with that being said, it was another awesome episode. A bunch of amazing topics that we already have queued up for next week because we didn't get a chance to get to a lot of the fun stuff. But thank you to Big Wagner, again, the official game of Gamified, Star Atlas. So excited to have you, brother. Thank you. And thank you for your time today. I know you're also a little bit under the weather after Manila, so doubly appreciate you coming through, as well as Jerry, also my fellow sick brother. Hope you feel better soon, man. Thanks for making the time for us regardless. Big Tony V, the Schrodinger's panelist, we still appreciate you whether you're here or not. Knock, of course, the Emperor of Esports. I always love you, brother. Sinjin joining us bright and early in the morning, brought that energy that we love so much. Dub on his first MVP. Big congratulations. And my co-host Lems. Love all you guys. We'll see you back same time, same place next week, 4 p.m. Eastern on Monday and Wednesday for Gamified and Simplified. Love you guys. See you there.